Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We are talking about the Premier League title race that is set to probably play out this season. I know we're only 5 games into the new Premier League season, but already this season is becoming a bit of a mad one, isn't it? And we're going to be talking about the 3/4 likely contenders, likely favourites for the Premier League title, it seems. But before we go any further, I would like to remind all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and probably greatly appreciated. But for now, let's go back to talking about the Premier League and the possible Premier League title race that is set to play out this season. This season seems to have all the makings, all the ingredients for a recipe that is going to make this one hell of a season to remember. This is already shaping up to be one of the most exciting title races ever. And even before the season kicked off, many people were predicting that this could be a 3-horse kind of race, maybe even 4. The 3 teams that were strong contenders for the Premier League title this season, based off of their transfer activity alone, were Manchester City, Chelsea and Manchester United. These were all considered strong favourites, strong contenders for the Premier League title this season, whilst a team like Liverpool were considered as a bit of outsiders. They didn't really do much in the transfer window, only bringing in the one new addition to their squad in Ibrahim Konate, but they still have considerably a strong squad that maybe could challenge for the title, but maybe not actually go on and win it. So therefore, they were considered slight outsiders. So far this season, both Chelsea and Liverpool lead the way. They're at the top of the table, matching each other step by step. Both teams, like I say, are at the top of the table and match on everything. Everything for them is identical. They have the same amount of wins, same amount of draws, same amount of goals scored, goals against. Obviously, that means there's goal difference as well. And of course, is also the same amount of points between them as well. The only thing that separates them is, of course, alphabetical order, which is why Chelsea are currently positioned first, Liverpool are second. And even when these two teams met earlier this season, they still couldn't be separated. A 1-1 draw played out on that day, which Liverpool may see as a bit of a missed opportunity, considering that Chelsea dug in for a solid, park-the-bus defensive style of performance, defensive display, after going down to 10 men for the entirety of the second half of that game. It's becoming a bit like the Borat meme. You know the Borat meme where he talks about his neighbour having the same kind of stuff that he does, or doing the same kind of stuff that he does? Only we're still yet to discover which one will blink first, which one will slip up first between these two sides in particular. As for Manchester United, their only slip up this season comes in the form of a 1-1 draw against Southampton. Otherwise, they've been pretty much perfect in terms of winning in the Premier League so far this campaign. They haven't been entirely convincing, though. They have had to grind out a couple of results here and there. One that instantly springs to mind was the game against Wolves, in which United did go on and win, but Wolves should have really taken their chances to beat United, but ultimately failed to do so. And of course, this past weekend, United had to grind out a result against West Ham, in which a late Jesse Lingard goal proved to be the difference maker on that day. But there does seem to be a bit more resilience to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side this season so far. And of course, when you add the leadership and experience and winning mentality of both Rafael Varane and, of course, the return of Cristiano Ronaldo, both of two of the 3 big summer signings that United have made this summer, also including Jadon Sancho, and that a very young, promising, very talented winger. Of course, we all know about these 3 in particular, but with Varane and Ronaldo in particular, their chances of winning the Premier League title, along with other trophies of course this season, are obviously both increased and boosted. We just have to wait and see whether that comes to fruition or not. Whilst Manchester City, they're the only side this season in this slight 4-horse race, if you like, that have slipped up this season twice and have also been beaten. Opening day defeat to Tottenham provided question marks over City's striking options. Failure to secure a move for Harry Kane, or even a natural and prolific goal scorer similar or even better than Kane, has caused many people to question how successful City may be this season. And it seems that despite securing the title the Premier League title last season, with pretty much using a false number 9 for the majority of that last campaign, of course the level of teams around them has risen quite significantly thanks to obviously the past transfer window that's been and gone. And many people, including myself, don't really see Gabriel Jesus as being good enough to lead the line both effectively and consistently for City throughout an entire season. City also dropping points this past weekend to Southampton in a 0-0 draw there, in which Pep Guardiola, it was a game in which Pep Guardiola had to play a bit of like salesman of sorts. He was actually pleading with the Manchester City supporters to turn up for that game and watch them draw 0-0 with Southampton, a possible relegation rival with only one shot on target throughout the entirety of the 90 minutes. Doesn't sound good when you put it like that, does it? Look, I think we can all agree when I say this, that Chelsea squad is stupidly strong. From goalkeeper right the way through to the strikers, throughout the entirety of this squad, there is plenty of depth and quality and talent and everything that goes along with that. And this team is entirely capable of competing on multiple fronts this season. And in my eyes, they are pretty much strong favourites and strong contenders for every competition that they're in this campaign. Even players you may not think that are good enough or are struggling to find some good, consistent form here and there or whatever it may be, maybe the likes of your Timo Werners, your Kai Havertz, they all still have time to grow and still have time to come good in the end. And you know, they all will play some sort of decent role this season for the club and in helping them achieve their own goals and achieve more silverware that they've already began to acquire last season with, of course, winning the Champions League. They're a solid team from top to bottom, defensively strong, disciplined and resolute. They create so many chances. Romelu Lukaku is bound to feast this season and is my personal pick to be the Golden Boot winner when it all is said and done, no doubt about it. But also, in my opinion, Lukaku doesn't just score goals, but he also has improved a great deal and has adapted his game very well since obviously going out and about to obviously Serie A and stuff, and he's grown so much as a player that he's turning into the complete striker. Not only does he score lots of goals and goals of all types, but you know, his dribbling's improved. His pace and his skill is so frightening for the majority of defenders this season that it's going to be kind of scary to see him charge at a back line of a defence. Not only that, but also his control is improved. His hold-up play is improved. His awareness is greater than what it was before. Everything about his game, in my opinion, is greatly improved, and it's going to make for not only a personal best for him, I think, but also it's going to help him become a very, very, very good team player overall and help build attacks for the Blues. Safe to say, Chelsea are looking like the real deal and are favourites for the Premier League title, particularly in my opinion. And of course, it pains me to say that. Of course it does. I'm a Liverpool fan. I want to say that Liverpool will win the title this season. I love and back them all the way. But I just think the difference between Liverpool and Chelsea is attacking depth. I think that Chelsea have more attacking depth, more quality and attacking depth than Liverpool do. And I think that Chelsea are stronger in that aspect. And ultimately that may be the difference maker somewhere down the line. I just think that many people are being quick to dismiss Liverpool as title contenders. I think that they are being overlooked by everybody. But in saying that, that may not necessarily be a bad thing. And I'm sure that Jurgen Klopp may be all too happy with Liverpool going under the radar, so to speak, because it kind of lifts the pressure off of the club, off of everybody involved, off of the entire squad. Because, you know, we saw last season that they were under a lot of pressure to repeat the same success that they had the previous season, in which, of course, they won the title and try and succeed in some sort of title defence. Of course, that didn't happen. But this season it seems the pressure is off. I think that Liverpool's squad depth is something that many people point at and say is their Achilles heel for being serious title contenders this season. And I think it's somewhat understandable, but I would mainly point out that it's mainly Liverpool's attack that lacks depth and is slightly weaker than both Manchester United and Chelsea in particular. I think defensively and in midfield, Liverpool have many options, and providing that injuries don't become a frequent factor again this season like they were obviously during the last campaign, the Reds could go very far in a title challenge and maybe even do very well in Europe as well. Fans are back in Anfield, which obviously makes a huge difference. Alisson's back to his best. Virgil van Dijk is back and back to form like he was never away with such a huge injury. Mohamed Salah is still banging in goals for fun, left, right and centre. And Sadio Mane is seemingly returning to the match-winning form of Sadio Mane of a couple of years ago. So I'd say that it's cautious optimism and quiet excitement as far as Liverpool are concerned right now. As for Manchester United, they have the starting 11 to win the league, definitely. They do have depth, but whether it's good enough entirely or not, I doubt it. I think that in some areas, like goalkeepers and strikers, and maybe even the centre-back area at times, it can look strong, and there are players there that are capable of doing jobs when called upon. But I think in other areas, like the midfield area, as one major example, it is rather weak. But overall, they don't have the manager. We've seen this year alone that managers are sometimes the difference makers when it comes to winning big games and big competitions. Unai Emery is a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is why Villarreal beat United in the Europa League final. Thomas Tuchel has seemingly got Pep Guardiola's number, which is why the German has already beaten the Spaniard on several occasions, obviously including the Champions League final of last season. And Roberto Mancini is a better manager than Gareth Southgate, which is one of the reasons why Italy beat England in the Euros final this past summer. United have the weakest manager in this top four debate in my opinion, but have one of the better teams in this top four debate. So it's kind of balanced in some ways. The additions of Varane and Ronaldo, as I previously touched upon, increase their chances of winning the Premier League title and other competitions like I mentioned. But overall, I'm still not entirely convinced. If they survive injuries, if they get a bit of luck here and there, if they don't slip up against the side that of course they should be beating and the sides that obviously will look to sit in, park the bus, exploit the midfield and counter-attack, then maybe 21 will be coming to Old Trafford. But with Solskjaer at the wheel and their squad overall, I'm not entirely convinced. And finally, we come to Manchester City. I said at the beginning of this season that City's success throughout this campaign depends on whether or not they sign Harry Kane and or a striker of similar goal-scoring ability and consistency. And well, they failed to acquire both Kane or that prolific and consistent goal scorer. Last season, Chelsea had a poor season. Liverpool was struck down with a number of big and key injuries to key players. And United were, well, United. City were very good. They were obviously the most consistent team throughout the entirety of last season, but they did get a bit of luck and help along the way here and there throughout the entirety of the campaign. And whilst they were very good at playing the false number 9, and it did work out for them last season, this season, everyone bar Liverpool has obviously strengthened in attacking areas, and that maybe what has kind of leveled out the playing field a little bit. Chelsea have brought in Lukaku, Manchester United have brought home Ronaldo. City don't have a clinical and consistent goal scorer in my opinion. Like I say, I don't think Jesus is good enough. Don't get me wrong, they have attacking players that can chip in with goals across the pitch. You look at the likes of Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, Riyad Mahrez, Ferran Torres, Kevin De Bruyne, and of course new signing Jack Grealish. Just 6 players alone, attacking midfielders that can all chip in with goals. But they lack a key vocal point up front, leading the line. And, you know, I think that is something that's missing. And that was clearly evident in both the games that we've seen City drop points in this season already against the likes of Tottenham and Southampton. Nevertheless, they still have a strong squad, and whether it's their A team or B team that's playing, it's still a very dangerous side to play against. And of course, with Pep Guardiola as manager, he's one of, if not the best manager in the world in today's football anyway today. So they shouldn't be taken lightly by any stretch of the imagination. But I just can't see them winning the title this season due to a lack of consistent goal-scoring striker. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this so-called top 4 title race, this 4-horse or 3-horse race, contendership for the Premier League title this season? However you want to put it, I want to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, on this particular topic down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it will all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and probably greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.